Um, well, the song is doing really well at the moment in the United States, the album as well. But for you as a band, you've been together, I think it was around 2003, and the album has been released, I think 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So does it feel to you as an old song already?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Because even before that, he wrote it in 2007 or 8 or something. So, but it has a new energy when it has success. It gives it a new energy. When people sing it at a show, that gives it a new energy. And each time we play it a little bit differently. So that's how we cope, with feeling like it's old.
Was it surprising then? Because I think you released the album Lunatic by yourselves first, and then it got picked up by the label.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So was it a surprise that you got picked up in the end?
After it took so long, it was a surprise that we initially thought, it's going to be, this is a hit. And it did really well in South Africa. We released it in South Africa. In fact, we released another song, I'm Only Joking, which was the first single that did really well for us, and then Come With Me Now. So we had this big radio success in South Africa and this album that was doing really big things in South Africa, and then we brought it to the States, or brought it back to the States. And when nothing happened for about a year and a half, we thought, okay, this might be it. Now we're going to start moving on to new material. So that was a surprise for it to happen that late. We thought it might happen a lot sooner, but
What were those 2 years or a year and a half like then when you go over to the United States, you think we have a good album here, the good chance they'll pick it up, but then nothing happens for a while.
it's a bit. Well, it was a lot of planning, trying to find ways to get it heard, trying to get it into the right people's hands and get the right people to hear it, and getting a lot of rejection notes or people just saying, it's cool, but don't know, we'll wait. But we're also touring a little bit. We try to play shows on the West Coast and write a lot of new material, because like we're discovering now, as soon as you do get success, you don't have time. You're on the road for probably 200 shows this year that we're going to play, and so you're on a bus, you don't have time to write new material. So we took that as almost a blessing to say, we've got the time now, we must try to write more material.
So in that period, did you write a lot?
Yeah, we wrote quite a lot.
I think we have enough songs for the next album or two already. They're not recorded, or they're in the beginnings of recording, but it was disheartening for a year or a year and a half for nothing to be happening in the States. But it wasn't a bad thing. I think, it's good to have to go back and say, well, why isn't this working? What else can we do? And, it came down to, with us, it's always been 1 or 2 DJs in each territory who support the record, because they see it for whatever reason. And they see it react when they play it. And that's what's been lucky for us, is that there's always 1 or 2 who will, play it, and then everyone else kind of follows.
But in that sense, then you always had confidence in the album, and it was more of a question of exposure then.
That's how we felt, yeah. I mean, we'll never know without playing out history different ways, but it seems like that. We're confident in it, and when it did get the shot, it reacted. So, that worked out for us, I guess.
We always saw how it reacted at live shows. We played, even if there were 10 or 20 people at a show, we saw how the song and how the songs were reacting. And we also had a small DJ in Phoenix that was very supportive of us from the very beginning, and he played it. And even though his audience was tiny, the reaction he was getting was big, and he was able to help us grow our audience in Phoenix from playing to 10 or 20 people to selling out to 500 people. And that was a sign that meant it's connecting.
So well, you mentioned earlier that the song has taken different versions in live shows. Is this something you try to do, not only because some of the material has been from a couple of years ago, but to have songs evolve and be different in the live show?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's it's a good exercise. It's also makes it enjoyable for us to change it up, and also part of it is just being able to extend the songs, because on the records they're very concise records. It's designed for 12 songs in a row, and some of them for radio play. And then when we do them live, we can extend. If there's a solo, we can make it longer, or do 2 solos, and jam on it for a while. That's rewarding for us.
In terms of the songwriting, then, is this already in the back of your mind when you start on the song, start working on?
You mean the radio? Oh, the live show, definitely. A lot of times we'll play a song, learn it live before we finish recording, and that helps the recording process.
Well, how generally I suppose it's different for each song, but how generally does the band come up with a song? Does it start with the music? Does it start with the lyrics?
We all write separately. We very rarely write together as a band and collaborate on the writing process. So we write individually. We basically flesh out a song. We come to the group with an almost completed song, and then the production side of it is when we get a lot more collaborative, and the arrangement of the songs and the parts and the sound of the song.
Do you remember which was the first song that you started on for Lunatic?
I think It's a Good Life was the first one, because we were still working on our debut album, and similar story, no success, very hard to get it going. So we went back to writing, and I wrote that one. Just, I thought, hey, let's write a fun song, something that people react to quickly, and then also Come With You Now was early on in that recording
Yeah, it's hard
process.
to say because we were writing separately. They probably started being developed and written at the same time. Because we were also hearing each other's demos and maybe getting a sense, even if it wasn't totally conscious, we were getting a sense of what the next album could sound like, and what Lunatic could sound like.
Well, you mentioned getting the song, writing it quickly, and getting it out there just for people to listen to.
Mm-hmm.
So did this period where some things weren't taking off immediately, did it influence the way you wrote?
Yeah, I'm sure it did.
Yeah, probably.
It wasn't. It's not like we decided, oh, this is failing, so let's compromise and try and make more popular music. It was more, how can we do the music that we want to do? But you start to see the necessity for connecting quickly and connecting on radio, because I don't think that in order for a song to be on the radio that it has to be bad. I think there's a lot of good songs on the radio, so that it definitely entered our mind, in terms of what the outlets are for commercial music these days, and how can we create the music we want to fit into that world.
And what did you find out?
Well, I guess we'll wait for the next album. Okay. And we'll see how it reacts. I'm excited about our new material after Lunatic, but we won't get to it for a while.
Well, is it because the album has been picked up well and the song?
Yeah, it's because we're going to be touring and supporting Lunatic for so long now. It's a really long process. In the States, it takes 6 months for a song to kind of peak and get fully saturated at radio, for you to go around the country and play shows to any decent number of people. So it's a long process, and we're going to be supporting it, and it's a good problem to have. It's old material. We might be a little bit bored with it, but we're at the same time having success, and you can't ask for anything more than that.
Have you noticed then, as you say, it is success, have you noticed then that it has opened doors already?
Oh yeah, I mean, everything has changed. Having one hit song, hopefully it's not just one, you can follow it up, and we feel very confident we have more singles because we saw how it played out in South Africa, but just having one hit song changes your entire career.
And well, you didn't want to give too much away, I think, about the new record, but do you have a kind of an idea where it's heading?
Yeah, I think so. We think that there's an essence to the Kongos sound, and we want to keep that essence, but we also don't want to be tied to a specific style or genre. We feel that the essence of the music can live in different genres. That's why on Lunatic, each song is kind of different sounding, and we like that idea. It allows each of us to go and write freely and then bring it to the band almost as though the band is a vehicle for our songs. We're covering, our own songs.
Well, this is my final question, and I think it's going to be really difficult to answer, but how would you describe this essence then?
Well, a lot of people have tried. A DJ in South Africa called it jungle rock, which is true. It's good for some of the songs, but it doesn't describe everything. World pop rock.
Is it something that you notice while you're working on the song that you think, okay, this is our sound, this is what we do, or is it?
Yeah, I think we each write individually, so each of us has a certain individuality or strives for a certain individuality. And then I do think that no matter who writes a song, when we bring it to the band, there's something undefined almost that we try to give it that makes it, oh yes, that sounds like Kongos. We have that intention, it's something we strive for. So it might be including some African or Middle Eastern or, exotic influences, but it doesn't have to be that,
Okay, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah,
Thank you
no
very
problem.
much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.